Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. We're going to invite everyone to have a seat. That's the kind way of saying if you want to eat your dinner before 9 o'clock at night, sit down. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to begin our service with these red sidurim on page 5, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oy, 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 Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon. Ba'achem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ba'achem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, ay, ay. Ba'achem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh.
All right, let's pick it up one more time.
Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, ay, Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oy, Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, ay, ay. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Alechem, peace to you, is what the Shabbat angels say as they come into your home. It's a little voyeuristic, and there's like your ring, I don't know if your ring, the newest ring, picks up Shabbat angels. But it's a little, the image may not resonate with our right to privacy, but the sentiment is a nice one. The sentiment is that when you create a house of warmth, of love, that the angels say, may it be like this next week. And this is quite a spectacular sight, seeing so many friends, so many family members. May it be like this in our hearts, in our souls, and next week. And as we greet the Shabbat angels, who come from the heavens, that's a far distance, we have a lot of people who traveled far distances. I understand we have family members from Florida. Where in Florida are you from? Miami. Where in Miami? Kendall. Oh, I lived in Pinecrest. Okay. So we have family from Miami, and we also have family from a very similar weather system to Miami, Michigan. So, like, is that the first time that you're wearing that sweater, like, since September, right? And you have, like, you can wear it for about 2 weeks, and then you gotta put it, then your down jacket. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to have everyone from Michigan. And then we also have family from Canada. Ooh, the Canadians are in the house. All right, good. Don't you know? We don't do that? No, it's not okay. All right. So, and then we also have friends from a very distant place, Temple Beth Hillel, down the block. So it's our pleasure to host everyone for Shabbat services, especially our Chai neighbors who are having their Shabbat program this evening. It's such a pleasure. What a crown jewel this program is for our larger Jewish community. So we want to say to you, Shalom Aleichem, welcome. And it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you and to celebrate Shabbat. We're going to sing a few songs. We're going to light candles. We'll have some words of Torah. And we'll just sing and celebrate with one another. The next song, it's Kabbalat Shabbat. You're warming up. You're making a distinction between all the stuff that goes on out there and just like what's supposed to go on in here. And so to do that, to realize to go from there to here, we sing songs to awaken our souls. L'chu Naranana. Let's go and let's sing. L'chu Naranana, page 11.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzor yishenu, nekadma fana b'toda, bismirot nariya lo, nekadma fana b'toda, bismirot nariya lo. Gadol Adonai Melech Gadol Al Kol Elohim Asher Biyado Mechkerei Aretz V'toavot Harim Lo Asher Biyado Mechkerei Aretz V'toavot Harim Lo Asher lo yaviu esav yivashet yadav yatzav lo nishtachah v'nichra.
On page 12, about 5 lines up from the bottom, right at that red arrow.
40 shana akud bidor va'omaram toei levavhem vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api im yevo'un el menuchati.
The next page.
Shir l'Adonai shir chadash, shir l'Adonai kol haaretz, shir l'Adonai baruch hu shemo b'yitzur mi'olam shpato tzapru b'goyim. Hod ve'ana levanav, oz v'diver b'mina ramana. Shtachevu l'Adonai b'adon kodesh, chilim mipanav kol haaretz.
Yismechu Hashamayim, towards the bottom of page 14. Again, right by that red arrow.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz.
Page 17.
Alo sadai v'chol asher bo, az yiranenu kol atzei ha'ar, lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz. ישפוט עבר בצדק ויאמין באמונתו.
Page 17.
מזמור שירו לאדוני שיר חדש כי נפלאות עשה הושיע לו ימינו וזרוע קודשו הודיע אדוני ישועתו לעיני הגויים גילה צדקתו זכר חסדו ואמונתו לבית ישראל ראו כל אפסי הארץ את ישועת אלוהינו הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ פיצחו ורננו וזמרו זמרו לאדוני וכינור וכל זמרה, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, רם בים ומלואו, תבל ויושבי בה, נהרות ימחאוך, יחד הרים ירננו לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ועמי במישרים, ילאי 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 ילאי
Let's turn to page 23 as we greet the Shabbat bride. Lecha Dodi, page 23.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. One more time, Dad. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor ha'beracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, umitzeim mitoch apecha, rav lach shevet b'yemek hamacha, ve'u yachamol alayich chemla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hidna arimei afar kumi, livshi bigdei tifatech ami, al yad ben yishai beit halachmi, korva el nafshi ge'alal. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri uri shir dameri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha pnei Shabbat, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, nekabela. Lo tevoshi ve'lo tikalmi, ma תשתוכחי ומטמי, לך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר על תילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, והיו למשי שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כי משוש חתן על כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, יבינו שמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על ידיש פן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לי 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 לי, יי ני ני ני, היי לי לי לי, יי ני 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 ני, לי 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 לי.
We can be seated as we continue on page 27.
Is that D minor? Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimecha elyon, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשר ועלינה ועלי הרב
Page 28, right by that arrow.
צדיקת המריפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו Yashar Adonai Tzuri Tzuri Velo Avlata Bo.
It's a special time when a family can come together not only to celebrate Shabbat, but also to celebrate a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. And so, Noah, we know how excited you must be. No? You got other plans tomorrow? You playing a little soccer? Some Legos? Basketball? Synagogue? Well, I hope, yeah. You'll be here, right? All right, good. I'll be here too. Maybe we can have a bagel after services. How does that sound? Okay. And no, I know it's a lot. It's a lot of attention. It's a lot just around us. We're not used to all being in spaces together, and then to have so many people in this space. But what's true, Noah, is that the space is not only filled with people, but it's people who are filled with love for you. And that's why everyone's here. And so in acknowledgement of that, we'd like to call up grandmas Lois and Ellen and great aunts Sharon and Donna to join Francie, to join Mom in lighting the Shabbat candles. And we'll invite everyone to please rise for the blessing over the Shabbat candles.
Ready? Go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'ner shel Shabbat.
And as you stand with one another before these Shabbat candles, may the vision of your family and the love that you share and hold for one another come to fruition this Shabbat. And may Noah's bar mitzvah be a continuing, he did the little eyebrow raise there. That was pretty cool. May it be a continuing source of light for the world. And let us all say, Amen. Okay. Speaking about blessings to the world, we're going to invite Noah to come on up, and we can all be seated. We're going to invite Noah to come on up with Mom and Dad, with Francie and Lee, for the presentation of his talit.
You can use that or this.
Which one do you want?
Noah, the talit, which you are about to wear tomorrow, is more than just a prayer shawl. When you wrap the talit around your shoulders, it will remind you that you are part of the Jewish people. You are now old enough to make moral choices and to trust your understanding of things. The talit also reminds both you and Dad and I that you are becoming self-reliant. When you were little, we were an essential part of your protection. We watched you carefully to be sure your body, mind, and spirit found a safe place to grow. But now, the tradition says, stop. Look at this person with a new eye. He is ready to depend on himself. He has the rights as well as the obligation to struggle, even fail, with his new freedom. Now, this talit will be our reminder of your new status. I suspect that Dad and I will need more reminding than you, especially the way this week was going. This talit is particularly meaningful because it was gifted to you from our very dear and amazing Uncle Bob, just months before he died last fall. He wanted to be a part of your bar mitzvah so much. And this is the first simcha we've had all together since he's been gone. He and Aunt Sharon wanted you to have it, to wrap yourself in our family's shared Jewish traditions. Our entire family is so proud to witness you at this milestone. Wear it often and in good health.
You can take it back to your seat. And don't forget it for tomorrow, okay, buddy? All right, good. And you know what else you're going to have to now wear that? You have to wear that when they tell you to take out the trash. No, not happening. The trash or the wearing of it. Okay. And we hope that the good feelings of that talit are transmitted lador vador to the next generation. So we'll now turn to page 39A. Page 39A for the call to prayer. In other words, all that we've done up to now has sort of been our spiritual stretches, Kabbalat Shabbat, and now it's prayer time. That's what the Baruch Hu is telling us. So we'll invite everyone to please rise, take a deep breath as we greet the Shabbat with the Baruch Hu, page 39B. We can be seated as we continue with the first blessing before the Shema.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבי.
Amen. Ahavat Olam, page 40. Ahavat Olam, page Israel.
על כן, אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נעשה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, וישמעו את ישמעו את ונתתי על מטורתנו. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Page 43.
Emet v'yemunah, emet v'yemunah, emet v'yemunah kozot. V'kayam aleinu, emet v'yemunah kozot. Adonai Eloheinu, ve'yein zulato, v'anachnu Yisrael, Yisrael Amo. Emet v'yemunah, emet v'yemunah kozot. V'kayam aleinu, emet v'yemunah kozot. Azamnon shaynu b'chayim.
Page 44.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכהנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא נורא תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי יפד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
As images of violence and hatred continue to fill the pages of our news and rightfully disturb our hearts and souls, our prayers go for us to summon the hope, that as a human race we can still one day achieve something better. If not during our lifetime, then perhaps in the lifetime of our children or our grandchildren. We add a special prayer in the evening. It's called the Hashkivenu. It's a prayer of peace. And I suspect that it was added in the evening by the rabbis because the rabbis knew that as the evening was a somewhat tenuous time, so too is our lives. So let's hope that peace can eventually prevail in the Ukraine, throughout the world, and in our own lives. The Hashkivenu, it's actually a nice prayer. There are people who are huddled together, fearing for their lives, listening to podcasts and news reports out of the Ukraine, people who are huddled in stairwells without water, without food, without knowing what comes next or if there will be a next in their lives. This is an unbelievable privilege. So if you feel comfortable, just put your arm around somebody and hold them not out of fear, but out of love. The Hashkivenu, our evening prayer for peace, can be found on page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, yai la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechayim shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Oh, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, lai dai, lai dai 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 dai, Baruch atah Adonai haporei Sukkot. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei Sukkot shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. May God, who spreads the shelter of peace upon us, spread the shelter of peace amongst the residents of the Ukraine, amongst all people who are feeling victimization and subjugation, as well as all the victims of terror in Israel this past week. May the entire world come to a place of peace, and let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Please, let's rise. Vishamru, page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת שבס לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ביום השביעי ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת שבס לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה יעמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם וליומי עומיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעולמה ואמרו Amen.
The Amidah, our opportunity for our own private thoughts and prayers, can be found beginning on page 47 and concluding on page 52. Eloheinu, Elohe Avotinu, Yah Elohe Avotinu, Yagireh. When you've concluded your Hamidah, you can be seated.
ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimrama. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Shalom bimromam, Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Yitkara v'yitkara shemei Rabbah B'yamad yifrach yirutev yamlich malchutei b'chayachonu v'mechonu v'chay l'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala v'zman kariv yimeru Amen Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach Li'olam li'omei omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipor v'yitrum v'yinaseh v'yidadar v'yidaleh v'yidalel shmei d'kudesha Brichu li'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata d'amiron b'yama v'imeru Amen titkabel tzloton uvalton d'chol Yisrael kodam avohoni v'shmaya v'imeru Amen yesh lam rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen oseh shalom b'mromav u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'kol yoshvei tevel v'imeru
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. The slap heard across the world. Chris Rock and Will Smith. And here I go. There's a lot to be said about this. And the most obvious, at least in my opinion, is the display of violence. The casual display of violence against another human being in a public setting. But I want to look at this incident from a slightly different perspective, and I want to do it with a Jewish lens. And I want to take it, well, in order to do that, I'm going to have to look at it like sort of the halacha, one stop adjacent from halacha in this week's Torah portion. So first, let's deal with this week's Torah portion. In this week's Torah portion, Tazria, one major section of the Parsha deals with someone who's afflicted with tzara'at. What is tzara'at? You'll have to go to your dermatologist to understand it because we translate it as leprosy, but really no one's sure. But let's just say it is a bad skin disease. And there's intricate ritual, according to the Torah portion, of what to do, not only when a person contracts this ailment, but also what happens if this sort of growth occurs in your clothing and in all sorts of different locations. There's very intricate ritual. Now, fast forward to the next book of the Torah, the book of Numbers. And there we hear a story about someone who contracts tzara'at, who contracts this skin ailment. Does anyone remember who it is? It's Miriam. Miriam is a little casual, not even a little, with her tongue about her brother Moses and his wife, and she then, as punishment, contracts this skin ailment. And from that, the rabbis extrapolate that someone who speaks lashon hara, evil tongue, their punishment is tzara'at, is this skin ailment. So what exactly is lashon hara? Lashon hara? It's when you're speaking ill of another person, and what you may say may either be the truth, or it may have seeds of truth to it, but you're not saying it to be helpful, you're saying it to be harmful. And that was what Miriam did. And the laws of Lashon Hara are by far the most famous laws governing our speech. But they're not the only laws about our speech. Later on in the book of Leviticus, a few parshiot from ours, we read about the law of ona'at devarim, which is the law of hurtful words. Words that cause pain. And the rabbis in the Mishnah, they go through what does it mean to have ona'at devarim, to have hurtful words, and they sort of break it down. I'll give you two examples that they give in the Mishnah. This is not quoting, but it's kind of, let's say that I put on my fanciest clothes, and I go to the Ferrari dealer. And I go, hello, yes, it is me, Brian Schuldenfrei. I would like to test drive that car over there, and please spend your afternoon with me telling me all about that fine automobile, which I may decide to purchase. But I have no intent on purchasing that car, because if I did, my wife would kill me. That's called ona'at devarim. My words are causing pain to that dealership because the dealer is spending his time or her time, and the dealership is investing their resources into trying to sell me a car and answer my questions, but I have no intent on buying that. That's called ona'at devarim. It's not window shopping. It's window shopping when you become a nudnik and you're keeping your wallet in your pants. That's ona'at devarim. But there's another example of ona'at devarim, and that's when someone says something and their words wound souls. Their words wound souls. Their words cause real and penetrating hurt to another human being. Now, do I think that Chris Rock's joke was a case of ona'at devarim? I do. Do I think that it justified assault? Of course not. But I want to point out that it's not just Chris Rock, and it's certainly not just Academy Award humor. Our society far too easily exchanges ona'at devarim. We casually hoist words at one another in the name of a joke or just a post or some feelings on Facebook with absolutely no regard for how our words will land and what they will do once they have penetrated the hearts and the souls of the people that we target. And what we saw the other night on the Academy Awards was a clear example of words that penetrated someone's soul and caused a lot of brokenness. Not to justify the violence. But I want to say that while there was clearly terrible violence and ona'at devarim, there was also a beautiful moment in that whole exchange, at least as I saw it. And it comes from another Torah teaching. The Torah teaches us in the book of Devarim, lo tuchal lihitalem, that we are not allowed to remain indifferent. Even our enemies, even someone who wrongs us, we're not to be indifferent to their pain and to their suffering. We are, in a way, commanded to care, even when our emotions demand us to care less or even care sort of in a nasty way. And that's what I saw at the Oscars. Because after the incident, I don't know how many of you watched it without the edits, when it was clear that something was very broken in Will Smith. Chris Rock, who is a professional comedian and has spent decades exchanging words back and forth with people in the audience, could have easily torn him apart with words. Ona'at Devarim. But I think what I saw in Chris Rock at that moment was the embodiment of Lo tuchal lehitalem. You're not allowed to remain indifferent. And when he saw a man cursing, and when he saw a man clearly losing the center of his self on the world's biggest stage, instead of causing further embarrassment, what did he try and do? He tried to diffuse the situation, and he went on with the show. Instead of joking and pointing and laughing and degrading a man who was already broken, a man who already embarrassed himself beyond repair, probably, in the eyes of the world, Chris Rock said, okay, I won't talk about your wife, and went on with the show. Lo tuchal lehitalem. We're not allowed to remain indifferent. When we see pain, even if it is pain caused by someone who caused us great pain, we can't be indifferent to their suffering. And I think Chris Rock's actions at the awards ceremony the other night is the embodiment of that. So my two hopes, my two prayers this evening. The first is that we as a society will remember our tradition's call, not only concerning Lashon Hara, but Ona'at Devarim, and that we'll be much more careful about how we speak to other people, whether it's face-to-face, over the phone, through emails or social media. Ona'at Devarim, words that harm, words that penetrate the soul and rip people apart. And also, then when we see people who are hurt, whether it's by bombs in the Ukraine, terror in Jerusalem, or even silly jokes at a silly awards ceremony, that we will not remain indifferent to the suffering of another human being. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to ask everyone to please rise as we invite Noah up. Page 55.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishi ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher lisiyat mitzrayim kivanu v'harta ve'otanu kidasha mikomin v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh
Boy, Noah, wait, stay up there, Noah. Not only is our gift to you all of the grape juice that was in that cup.
Non-existent.
I thought we were keeping that between us, Noah, and 200 of our closest friends. But in celebration of your bar mitzvah, Noah, we'd like to present all of these gifts. In this bag, there are socks, which are actually come along with a gift certificate, which we hope that you'll wear the socks on a trip, on a Jewish trip or Jewish experience, and so that you'll continue to further your Jewish education and your Jewish connection. There's a book about Israel, there's a kippah, there's a mezuzah, there is a new car. No. That's right. You know, you wish? Can you drive?
No, I'm 13.
Oh, you're 13. Okay. And then also there's lots of other little goodies there, including a certificate that certifies. We already signed it, but so you have to come tomorrow because we said that you got bar mitzvahed, so you have to kind of go through with it. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow, where this certificate will go into effect. So Noah, but most of all, I think the greatest gift is the gift of this gathered before you. And I want you to remember this vision, Noah, the vision of so many people who love and support you and are here to celebrate you with you, and will be here to celebrate with you throughout your life in the good times and to stand with you in the more challenging times. And so what a great blessing that is. And for that blessing, we all say, Amen. Mazel tov. Here, you can take your gifts. And we're going to continue with Aleinu on page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרובים, הוא אלוהינו עינות מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבותה ללבביך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינות, על כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
In love, we recall those who no longer walk this earth. We are grateful to God for the gift of their lives and for the cherished memories that never fade. On this Shabbat, for the coming week, we observe the yurtzites of Ruth Ahrens, Herman Brickman, Sigmund Fisher, Harold J., Rita Katchen, Doris Ruby Kramer, Philip Matloff, Abraham Samuels, Charles Schneider, Paul Travis, Frank Cassis, Frida Dozeritz, Fanny Goldblatt, Julie Griffin, Dr. Jack Liepman, Joseph Schlesinger, Herman Silverman, Harry Silverman, Michelle Tucker, Sandra Zimmerman, William Astor, Jenny Deichman, Herbert Edelman, Dora Green, Ingrid Jacobson, William Rothenberg, Esther Jochum, Karen Zuko, Ronald Finn, Bernice Jordan, Irving Kellerman, David Picker, Catherine Samuels, Ruth Goldman Slutsky, Leon Turner, Julius Josephsberg, Darren Russell, Sean Sidney Wiggins, David Aronoff, Dora Becker, Harold Copens, Mary Mars, Helen Nippel, Gertrude Papkin, Stuart Petesky, David Prizer, S. David Rosenzweig, Chaim Rottenberg, Solomon Siegel, Saul Taylor, Ari Brumberg, James Gerber, Robert Giddin, Philip Ginsberg, Lena Gittig, David Goodman, Esther Kafton, Shiri Kaikov, Herman Liu, Rose Olin, Walter Reichemer, Eric Small, Ida Staub, and Ida Turk. Is there anyone in the community observing a yurtzeit for someone whom I didn't mention? We'd like to ask those of you who are observing a yurtzeit or who are in mourning to please rise as we sanctify God's name with the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 58. Page 58. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shamei rabbah bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabam v'rach le'olam omei omaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. And may the memories of our loved ones be a continuing source of blessing and comfort. And let us all say amen. In just a moment, we're going to conclude our services, but I want to just, first of all, a big welcome to all of you who've traveled to be here with the Kaplan family. And Noah, we're just so excited to celebrate with you tomorrow morning. Services begin at 9:30. For those of you who are here as part of our High Neighbors program, we are just thrilled to have you. I think it's universally proclaimed that High Neighbors has just been an incredible addition to this community, this wider community's programming and ways of forging connection. So we want to welcome all of our High Neighbor guests, and whether you are affiliated here, you're affiliated with Beth Hillel, you're not quite yet affiliated, we're just happy to have you. It's our pleasure to celebrate Shabbat with you and to mark High Neighbors. I can't think of an organization that could have come along in a more timely fashion than High Neighbors. At a time of disconnect, High Neighbors sowed the seeds of connection, and what a blessing that was and still is for our community. Speaking of connection, over Passover, we have a lot of ways that you can become connected. So let me give you a few of those. Friday night on April 15th, we're hosting a community Seder, and you are all invited. On Saturday evening, we're hosting two, that's sort of sit, and there'll be waiters, it'll be very nice, an elegant affair featuring the music of one
Sue Epstein.
Sue Epstein. Not David Cameron.
Yeah,
He's the next
David
thing. Thank
Cameron's
you.
the next
Yeah.
one.
He's
Right,
the next
right.
thing. Good. Thank you. You saved me on that one because I was about to flub that, but you kind of okay. And Rabbi Yarkin will be leading that Seder with Sue Epstein, and it promises to be spectacular. I've heard of some of their plans. The next day, on Saturday, we of course have festival services early in the morning here, 9:30, but then later that evening we have two Seder opportunities. Now, for those of you who have grandchildren, we would love for you to join us at Jammies and Jeans Seder. The kids can come in their jammies, you can come in your jeans. The food is going to be hot dogs, hamburgers, and French fries, and it is going to be an outdoor Passover Seder with puppets and screaming and lots of
Typical
fun.
Seder fare.
Exactly. It's the same hamburger that my grandmother used to make, right? So anyway, you're welcome to that. That's Jammies and Jeans Passover on Saturday night. It's at 5 o'clock, just in time for the kids to melt down around 6:30. And then after that, we're having, I think we called it like the Schuldenfrei Family Seder. I was like, it's not going to be fancy. Everyone's going to help. We're going to put a bunch of tables together, and we'll sing some songs, and I'll do a Seder just like I do in my living room. So that's the second night. The Schuldenfrei Family Seder here at Adat Ariel. And you're all welcome. You can, and then also, is Beth Hillel having any Passover Seders? Where's? Second night, and that's, everyone's welcome. Rabbi Horansky's going to do a beautiful job. All that kind of good stuff. So Beth Hillel, if anyone's curious about the Beth Hillel Seders, know that they're here, and talk to the folks from Beth Hillel. So you're welcome to one, the other, both. Try and come to 2 Seders in one night, Beth Hillel and Adat Ariel, and maybe we'll do them together next year. That would be nice. Okay, so those are the Sedarim and Passover. There's lots of other stuff going on, lots of other programs.
On this Wednesday evening, April 6th, we have our Women of Adat Passover celebration. It's not a real Seder, but it is a preparation both spiritually and musically, and we do a hands-on project, and it'll be both here and online, so it is Wednesday evening, so check our website.
Wonderful. So there's a lot going on, and we really appreciate everyone being here. 2 announcements, just logistics. The Chai Neighbors dinner is in Russell Hall. So when you come out of the sanctuary, if you're new to Adat, you come out of the sanctuary, you make a right, and you just sort of walk all the way back, and you'll see the people going into Russell Hall. For the Kaplan family, your Shabbat dinner is just right out over here, just right outside of the sanctuary. So I think the menu's this. I was eating everything, and everything is delicious. I was in the kitchen about an hour ago, so I don't know whose dinner I was eating, but it was delicious, and thank you for that. Okay, anyway, what are we going to close with? I know.
Yigdal.
Yigdal. Okay, that's a good one.
This is a tune I found in my South America book.
Page 62, if you're
And it goes like this. יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא ויינט אל מציאותו אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף ליחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואין לו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו וטבעתו לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את אמונתו תורת אמת נתן לים אוהל על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו לא יחליף אוהל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו גומל איש חסד כמפעלו נותן לרשע רע כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתו מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו Shabbat Shalom.
Amen.